Is this good? Wonderful. All right. I'm Luke Hauser. I'm a UNO student.
I'm Mike Millea, and I'm a lifelong learner.
That's for sure. We also did have a Ralston student, Edgar. He could not be with us today, which we were very sad about, but he also did give us a lot of insight, so I hope that he can kind of be present in our presentation still. We talked about the normal qualities that you find in the hero, the humility, the selflessness. I think one of the things that we really got to through our discussion was the idea of that quiet desperation that a lot of heroes seem to have. That throughout any struggles that they're going through, they still put other people above themselves to try to provide for them. So many people that have chosen their parents that gave willingly everything that they could to their children. It didn't matter what kind of day they were having or what was going on in their life. That was secondary to whatever the people that were important to them needed. For our own heroes, Edgar chose his father, who definitely supported his family and helped raise them. I guess we kind of looked at the common everyday hero that you find, that all of us are capable of hero-like qualities. For my personal hero that I want to point to today is actually Mike here, who I did get the pleasure of getting to meet and getting to learn about his life throughout this process. He fought in the war, he served the community, he was a teacher, he was a Boys Town parent. He has given his life to service, and I definitely admire that about you a lot. So. And then I think you had some things that you want to talk about for your own personal ideas on heroes?
I made notes. It's one of the things I learned in college. All of us, Americans, all Americans, and all people who are going to become Americans, are joining up with a hero-demanding people. And what a hero-demanding people is one, they have a common idea. We know what we are supposed to do in periods of danger or perceived threat. We know what we're supposed to do. Now, I was overseas and I was due to come home pretty soon, and President Eisenhower was president, and the French were losing a battle at Dien Bien Phu, and they were talking about sending my unit there. No fool I was scared to death. And President Eisenhower told them that the only thing they would get out of expending those troops was a bunch of dead people. And he ordered us to stand down, not go. I've always been grateful for that. One of the things that helped shape my life, and Jack here kind of touched on this, there was an Austrian psychiatrist by the name of Freud that some of you may have run into at one time or another. He said something once that has been misconstrued and reconstrued and overconstrued, but anyway, the word is, the quote was this: "No man is ever the man that his father was." And what he means by that is, in my view, I am not the man my father was, because my father was a fully formed adult the first time I ever saw him. And he was always a dominant presence in my formative years. I never shook that off. And I've come kind of honestly to believe that I still feel that, even now, when I'm over 30. On the other hand, Freud never said much about mothers, except when he was involving them in some very, very nasty activity. And my mother was one of the strongest, bravest people I ever knew. She walked up once to a cash register and stood waiting to pay while two young women behind the cash register discussed the movie from the night before. And Mother said after 2 minutes, she said she timed it by the big clock behind these girls, she said something to them that startled them terribly. She said to them, "What have I done to cause you to treat me so rudely?" Now I'm sure that you may think, doesn't take any guts to say something like that. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So what I'm trying to tell you, I suppose, is that I really, really believe that all of us are in a position where if we're called on to stand up for ourselves or to stand up for others, we have the wherewithal to do it.
That kind of wraps us up what we had discussed nicely. Through this experience myself, I definitely enjoyed getting to know Mike here. He's an incredible life story, and I hope that I can grow up to be half the man that I know he is. Also with that, it was very nice to be able to work with the Ralston student and then kind of see that intergenerational gap and the similarities and also the differences that come with that. What was this experience like for you?
It was a real delight because it caused me to think about things that I have lived in, but I hadn't thought about in many years in some cases. Really a delightful, positive experience, and thank you very much for inviting me.